Over 1 million years ago, during the Ice Age, Earth was home to some of the most remarkable creatures ever to live, and among them was the Glyptodon, a prehistoric giant that has fascinated scientists, historians, and storytellers for centuries. An animal that looked like a living tank, about the size of a small car, with a massive armored shell made of fused bone plates known as osteoderms. A heavy tail that in some species formed a spiked or club-like weapon, and a peaceful herbivorous lifestyle that allowed it to survive for over 1 million years in the grasslands of South America. Unlike its Ice Age neighbors such as the woolly mammoth, the mastodon, and the saber-toothed cat, the Glyptodon's story was one of defense rather than aggression, survival through armor rather than speed, and adaptation through simplicity rather than specialization. And this unique evolutionary path made it one of the most iconic Ice Age animals. The ancestors of the Glyptodon were small, armadillo-like mammals that lived millions of years before the Ice Age began, members of the order Xenarthra, which today still includes armadillos, anteaters, and sloths. And while mammoths evolved thick fur and massive tusks to survive the frozen tundras, and mastodons adapted to forest life with browsing habits, the Glyptodon evolved into a fortress on legs, with its shell forming an impenetrable dome that predators like saber-toothed cats could rarely pierce, and its body growing to enormous proportions, some species reaching 10 feet in length and weighing close to 2 tons, making it one of the heaviest mammals of its time. Its adaptations were perfect for the Ice Age grasslands: wide, flat teeth that could grind down tough grasses, roots, and fibrous plants, a slow but steady metabolism that allowed it to live off the vegetation of open plains, and a tail that acted not only as balance, but as a weapon capable of crushing bones when swung with force. And because it was a herbivore rather than a predator, it never needed to risk its survival on dangerous hunts, but could instead rely on the land itself to provide its food, a strategy that made it resilient through countless environmental shifts. In daily life, Glyptodons likely moved in small groups or herds, grazing slowly across ancient South American landscapes that were shared with giant ground sloths, terror birds, and early relatives of modern animals, while in the distance, mammoths and mastodons thrived in colder regions, showing just how diverse Ice Age megafauna could be. For millions of years, Glyptodons survived challenges that wiped out many other large species, but their story became forever linked to humanity when early humans arrived in South America roughly 12,000 years ago. And for these early people, the Glyptodon was not simply an animal to observe. It was an opportunity for food, shelter, and even cultural inspiration, as archaeological evidence suggests humans hunted these giants for meat, but also used their massive shells as shelters, flipping them over to form huts strong enough to withstand wind and rain, and in some cases decorating or carving them, showing that Glyptodons had symbolic and cultural significance in addition to their practical uses, making them a true part of the deep relationship between humans and Ice Age animals. In many ways, the Glyptodon was more adaptable than other megafauna like mammoths and mastodons because it did not depend on cold climates or dense forests, but could survive on simple grasslands, and its armor made it nearly invulnerable to natural predators, giving it a survival advantage for millions of years. But even this fortress of nature could not withstand the dual pressures of a rapidly warming climate and human expansion around 10,000 years ago. When Ice Age ecosystems collapsed, vegetation patterns shifted, and humans hunted them more frequently. And being large, slow-moving, and requiring vast amounts of food, Glyptodons could not adapt fast enough, while their smaller relatives, the armadillos, survived by being quicker, needing less food, and burrowing underground. Thus, despite surviving for over 1 million years, the mighty Glyptodon disappeared forever, leaving only its fossilized shells, bones, and cultural traces behind. Yet those fossils continue to inspire awe today,
as many Glyptodon remains are found in near-perfect condition, their shells revealing the detailed osteoderm plates that look like a prehistoric mosaic. And museums across the world display them as examples of Ice Age creativity, teaching us about evolution, adaptation, and extinction. When compared to other Ice Age giants, the Glyptodon stands out not because of ferocity or size, but because of its strategy of survival. Where mammoths represent strength, mastodons represent endurance, and saber-toothed cats represent danger, the Glyptodon represents protection, patience, and balance with its environment. And that message still resonates with us today. Its cultural importance to ancient humans as both a practical resource and a symbol of strength shows that this animal was not only part of natural history, but also human history, bridging the gap between wild ecosystems and the first societies of people. In modern times, the Glyptodon is often featured in documentaries, books, and museums as one of the most fascinating prehistoric mammals, sometimes compared to dinosaurs like ankylosaurs because of its armor, sometimes compared to turtles because of its shell, but always remembered as one of the true armored giants of the Ice Age. Its story is one of survival, adaptation, and eventual extinction, a reminder that even the strongest strategies can fail in the face of rapid environmental change and human influence. Today, when we look at fossils of Glyptodons in museums, we are not just looking at bones and shells, we are looking at the remains of a living fortress that once roamed the plains of South America, a creature that connected mammoths, mastodons, saber-toothed cats, and humans in a shared Ice Age world, and a species that continues to inspire imagination as a symbol of resilience, power, and the fragile balance of life on Earth. The Glyptodon's history is a story of adaptation over millions of years, survival during a time of giants, interaction with humans at the dawn of civilization, extinction in the face of climate and hunting pressures, and legacy through fossils that speak louder than words, reminding us of a time when the world was wild, untamed, and filled with creatures that seem almost impossible today, yet were very real, walking the earth alongside the first humans, teaching us that every species, no matter how strong, is tied to the changing world around it.